Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me on this video number 3, Step 2, Exploring and Testing Your New Paths. This is where things get exciting because you are one step closer to making your career transition a reality. But before we dive into strategies, let me share a personal story to illustrate what this phase could look like in action. Years ago, I made a bold career transition from sales and trading at JP Morgan to luxury retail at Louis Vuitton. Two completely different worlds. But before that transition, I only knew one thing. I was deeply unhappy in my career in finance, and I also felt in my guts I was meant for something else. But here's the thing, I had no idea what this something else was. So I started asking myself some questions. What actually makes me happy? What are the things that gives me energy? And back then the answer was really simple. I love reading fashion magazine. My perfect self-care moment was Vogue magazine and a cup of tea. And that spark became my starting point. Living in London gave me incredible opportunities to explore. I signed up for weekend courses at Central Saint-Martin, went to fashion exhibition, attending industry events hosted by Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, and Elle. And I started meeting people who share my passion, and some even became my friend. For nearly 3 years, I lived a double life. I was finance professional by day and fashion enthusiast by night and weekend. This wasn't just a hobby, it was my exploration and tasting phase. Well, my first transition was, as you can see, very passion driven and intuitively led. My second move was completely different. When I moved from luxury to consulting, I asked myself different question. What experiences will position me to reach my ultimate career goal? And second, I was to be able to do so much more in my exploration phase with the structure and resources of my MBA. Things like not only attending industry events and taking on targeted classes, but also creating content and hosting events around the field I was exploring. And I also applied what I learned in my MBA by reaching out to both my peers at Oxford and to new connections on LinkedIn for information calls to gain real insight into the target field. Now with these two very different transition experiences, what it told me is that the goal is to recognize what motivates you. And this can be very different at different seasons of your life. Now let me move on to share with you my top strategy for exploration. Feel free to mix and match what feels right for you here. Number 1, building direct experience. From shadowing someone to volunteering or taking on a small freelance project. Number 2 is networking and learning. Reaching out on LinkedIn to schedule informational calls, attending events and conferences. There's also the skill building part, which is taking online courses, earning certification, and joining weekend programs. And the last is deep immersion, by subscribing to newsletters, listening to podcasts, reading industry books, and following thought leaders. Remember, none of this knowledge is ever wasted. It will make your interview stronger and your eventual transition much smoother. Now let's talk about timeline. In my experience, this phase can take anywhere from 3 months to 3 years. It really depends on how different your target field is and how much exploration you need to feel confident to take the leap. By the end of this phase, you should have one key outcome. Either, if you started with a broad idea like I want to work in fashion, you should end with I want to work at a luxury fashion house in a head office role using these specific skills based in London. Or if you began with multiple potential paths, you should now have one clear direction. That's the power of exploration. You move from vague ideas to focused, confident choices. This phase requires patience, but it is what separates successful career transition from expensive mistake. You're building the foundation for your leap. In our next video, we will dive into step 3, how to actually make the leap and pursue your chosen career path. I will see you there.